You're listening to Goal Getting Podcast Season 2, Episode 3. Got a goal and you just can't hit it? Well, Philip here and we'll help you get it. Learn the goal achievement success system here on Goal Getting Podcast and put some gas in your goals to power you to the finish line. Learn how to use gas in your goals with your guide, Tony Woodall, as he provides tips, strategies, and inspiration with quote and advice from experts to help you get the goals you set. Let's go, friends. Rev up your engines and let's take off for success. Hey, goal getters. Welcome back to the show. Let's start the show today with a quote from Rumi, a 13th century philosopher. It's as relevant today as it was then. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. I liked this quote by Rumi when I read it. It reminded me of when I was younger. When we are young, we think we are clever. We often have this vision that we can change the world. We want to be the one to change the world. We know just what to do. We have these great ideas and dreams. And we need to do that. We need to have those dreams. We need to believe we can change the world. We need to have the young dreamers. We need to believe these dreams. Why? Because, as in the quote in Season 2, Episode 1, so passionately stated at the end, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Today I am wise, Rumi goes on to say. As we get older, we tend to get wiser. My wife and I have had 4 golden retrievers, and as they got older, they started getting gray hairs on and around their eyes and on their muzzles. We called the gray hairs their wise hairs. We have taken the failures, the lessons in life, the challenges we have overcome, and have molded them into a sculpture known as wisdom. What is Rumi saying in this last part of his quote? Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. Well, is he saying I cannot change the world, therefore I must change myself to conform to the world? Or is he saying I must change myself, and in that change I can change the world? What do you think? Go to our show notes page at goalgettingpodcast.com/S2-E3 and tell us which of these Rumi is talking about. Should you give up trying to change the world and just change yourself to conform to what the world actually is? Or should we concentrate on changing ourselves, and in that change, there could be the spark to change the world? Are you wise? Do you have something you want to change about yourself that will inspire others? Will that change you make inspire you to do something more, and then those subsequent changes be what changes the world? This season, we're going to be talking about my work on wellness goals. I will be sharing how I lost 40 pounds in 16 weeks and the current goal to get my A1C numbers below 6.0 and my weight to 185 pounds. Just to give you a representation of my weight at the top, when I hit 296 pounds, which is the most I've ever weighed, I included a picture on the show notes page at goalgettingpodcast.com/S2E3. I had never weighed 296 pounds, and for some folks that are tall, that's not necessarily a bad weight to be. But when you're 5'6", 296 pounds is big. I mean, I wasn't totally humongously obese, but I was obese. I mean, I was unhealthily obese, and it showed in a lot of things that I did. So today, in today's episode, we're going to start reviewing the how of the 3 keys to goal setting success. Last episode, we talked about the what. The how consists of these 2 of the 9 steps to successful goal achievement that are in my book of the same name on Amazon. These 2 items are set an action plan and measure it, track it. With all goals, there must be action. There is something that you must do in order to achieve the goal. You must be able to quantify the steps and be able to track them. They have to be measurable and they have to be trackable. The M in our SMART goals is measurable. You have to be able to measure what you're doing. Tom Peters, well-known author and speaker, says, "What gets measured gets done." We must keep track of the steps we are working on to ensure the completion of these steps. By keeping track of the progress of these action steps, it will help keep us motivated. They will keep us going in the right direction toward our goals. Now, as I mentioned last week in our previous episode, we discussed the what and that was setting clearly defined written goals. Today, we're going to be discussing the how, creating the action plan with specific actions you must complete to get the goal you set. When we're talking about the how contains two parts: the how section of the goal-getting worksheet and the goal-setting maintenance worksheet. Go get your copy of the goal-setting worksheets. Download it from goalgettingpodcast.com/action if you haven't done so already. There's a link to the goal-setting maintenance worksheet on the show notes page at goalgettingpodcast.com/S2-E3. You can download your copy of that worksheet there. In the goal-setting worksheet, you will see blocks for the what, the why, and the how. You should have completed the what already after listening to Season 2, Episode 2. If not, you will want to go back and listen to that episode. When we complete the worksheet, we are using handwriting, not typing into the sheet. I explained the reason and need to use longhand cursive handwriting for these tasks in the last episode as well. So get you a pen and a paper, and I know it's old school, but it works. On the goal setting worksheet, in the how section, we are going to list the top 10 most important action steps. If it takes that many, it could be less, it could be more, but we're going to start with the top 10 action steps that we want to take for this goal. The goal maintenance worksheet will be used to track the specific daily tasks we will do each week to accomplish the goal. From this worksheet, we will be able to track the progress we make each week. In this episode, let's focus on the how section. To define the action steps, we have to understand what it takes to achieve the goal. Now, I had to learn what I needed to do to lose the weight I needed to lose. When I started the competition at my office, and I don't know if you remember me talking last episode, but we were having a Biggest Loser competition at the office, and the person who won that got a significant prize, and I wanted to win that prize. The goal was to lose the most percentage of body weight, just like they do on The Biggest Loser. So that was what we had to do, lose body weight. Hopefully the most percentage of body weight from when we started. Now that's kind of vague and arbitrary because you don't know what each person is going to do each week. So it's hard to gauge that as a goal. What I had to do was to find a target weight that would most likely give me the highest percentage based on the known factors: who was in the competition, what they likely needed to lose, and what I thought their motivation was. That's too many variables, so I set my goal to be realistic and measurable. My starting weight was 250 pounds. I wanted to weigh 210 pounds by the end of our competition 16 weeks later. That was a 40-pound weight loss in 16 weeks. Let's look at the elements of weight loss. This is one of the things that you have to understand. What does it take to lose weight? What is the important process and steps that you have to understand? And it's a simple process. If it was a special fad diet, I would call it the L&M diet, and that's eat less and exercise more diet. The ultimate way to lose weight is to burn more calories than you consume. It's really a fact, and that's really what it boils down to. You have to eat less and exercise more, or burn more calories than you take in a daily basis. So what is your typical caloric intake in a day? That's what I needed to know for myself. I started looking at what I was eating. And this is an important step that you can do, is start doing a journal of what you eat every single day. Get an idea of what kinds of food you're eating at what time of the day, because that's important. As we get into our process, we're going to start looking at habits and how habits can affect what you're doing. You might be surprised, as I was, when I started calculating what I was eating and journaling what I was eating. When I started looking at what I was eating in a day and how many calories I was eating with each meal, I was flabbergasted. I was flabbergasted to learn why I was flabby. Just to give you an example, when I gained all this weight, I was traveling a lot. And as I've told you before, I didn't take great care of myself when I was out of town. I would go out to eat after a long day at work and enjoy a nice, relaxing dinner. One of my favorite restaurants to eat at is the Cheesecake Factory. Outside of the obvious, they are a favorite because they offer a wide variety of foods. I can get a different type of meal each time I eat there, even if I eat there every day of the week when I'm out of town. Now, just to give you an idea of a typical meal that I would eat while I was at the Cheesecake Factory. I'm going to tell you what the item is and what the calories were. I would go out. Typically, I would either have a couple drinks or a couple beers. So let's say I had a beer with dinner, maybe two, because I'd have one before while I was waiting and then another one during the meal. So let's just say I had two beers. That's 150 calories each for a beer, depending on the type of beer. And I like good dark beers, craft beers. It's approximately 150 calories per beer or 300 calories for the two. They typically bring you a loaf of bread along with butter for your pre-meal. Their bread was very good, but it's a 600 calorie loaf. Yes, 600 calories. I just ate one in a meal, so that would be 600 more calories that I just added. Then, a lot of times I either have a salad if I was smart, but I usually wasn't at that time, so I would typically have a cup of soup. The cup of soup, depending on the type of soup that you eat, was around 310 calories, and we'll go with that amount. So I had an extra 310 calories I just piled on. And then I would find something to eat. Let's just say I ate a sandwich, a chicken sandwich, and they have a spicy, crispy chicken sandwich with chipotle mayo. And I'm choosing this one because it's actually a relatively low caloric item. It's not one of the heavier ones that I typically would eat when you get into the pasta dishes with the sauces. A spicy chicken sandwich with chipotle mayo at Cheesecake Factory is 1,380 calories. That's 1,380 calories for that entree. So now I've eaten my bread. I've had my entree. I've had a cup of soup. I had a beer, maybe two by now, and I am finished. And it was fabulous. So I am at the Cheesecake Factory. What do they specialize in? Well, they specialize in cheesecake. I would have one of their cheesecakes for dessert. You got to have dessert unless I was too full, but at that time that wasn't an issue. I didn't have that full problem, and whether I did, I still kept eating because I wanted the dessert. The original cheesecake is one of the lowest calorie cheesecakes that they have, so I think of that as giving you the minimum was 710 calories. I've got the great original cheesecake. New York style cheesecake is one of my favorite desserts, and they make a great original New York style cheesecake, and 710 calories. That's all. And of course, you've got to have some sort of drink with that. A lot of times I would have coffee, but let's just say you like a good, sweet, tasty cafe mocha. If you added a cafe mocha on there with your original cheesecake, you're adding another 420 calories. So let's look at this total without going through each one. After you total all those items up, you come up with a total calories for dinner of 3,720 calories. Now, what really amazed me is this is an example of a very low-calorie meal at Cheesecake Factory. When I looked at some of the meals that I knew that I had eaten before, when I go through and look at all of these, I was over 5,000 calories for a meal. When I found out what I was eating, I was just totally surprised, and not pleasantly surprised either, because that's just dinner. That doesn't count breakfast or lunch or any of the snacks throughout the day. So based on what I just told you, based on that and the other items that I typically consumed, I was pushing close to 10,000 calories per day. That's right, 10,000 calories per day that I was eating. Now, back then, I didn't typically exercise much at all, especially when I was traveling. I got up in the morning, I got dressed, I went to work, I sat in a desk, went to meetings, led a pretty sedentary lifestyle. The most exercise I had during that time was walking from the rental car to the gate at the airport, carrying a 20-pound computer bag and rolling a carry-on. So not a lot of exercise unless I was in a hurry, late for, getting to the gate and had to rush. Then I would hustle or run sometimes down the alleyway or the terminal to get to the terminal. And if I burned 2,000 calories in a day, I was lucky. I ended up with a severe calorie overage. That's very exciting to know that I just ate all those calories in one day. Now I've got to figure out what to do with it. Now that you know how much you eat, really start taking track of that. There's a great app that I use, MyFitnessPal, and you can keep up with all of your calories on the MyFitnessPal app. And I use this extensively during this program where I lost 40 pounds in 16 weeks. I had to have something to keep track of the calories that I was consuming, and I had to be able to see what I was doing on a very tight basis, because I really wanted to follow up with how much I needed, because I had a very limited amount of calories that I had in my program. We'll go into that in just a moment. So let's talk about losing weight. Losing weight is a simple equation, as I mentioned. Eat less and exercise more, and you're going to lose weight. It takes 3,500 calories to burn 1 pound of fat. If I want to lose 1 pound, I have to burn 3,500 more calories than I consume. 40 pounds times 3,500 calories is 140,000 calories that I have to burn to lose that weight. And now if I want to lose 40 pounds in 16 weeks, I have to burn 8,700 calories more than I eat in 16 weeks. Now, the recommended daily caloric intake for men at my age was 1,800 calories or 12,600 per week, or a total of 201,600 calories in 16 weeks. Do you see the recommended weekly amount? That's 12,600 calories in a week is the recommended weekly amount of calories consumed for a male my age. I was eating close to that in a day. What are you eating? I mean, check it out. Find out what exactly you're eating, and you'll be surprised. Hey, Goal Getters, thank you for listening to the How Part 1. We wanted to give you everything that we could on the how and how to complete the goal setting worksheet as part of our goal achievement success system. The goal setting worksheet is the foundation of defining what you want to achieve, how you can go about getting it, and why you want to achieve it. We are talking about the how at this point, and the episode went a little longer than I thought it would. I started trying to get as much information as I could in here for you, and I hope I got a good start there. We'll finish up in our next episode, Season 2, Episode 4, on the How Part 2. I look forward to you coming back and visiting with us. This is your host, Tony Woodall. If you have any questions, please feel free to go to our show notes page at goalgettingpodcast.com/S2-E3. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you're thinking, and we would appreciate any feedback that you have. Come by and see us next time on Season 2, Episode 4, where we finish the how. Go out today and make it a great day.